What's up, Sneaky Nation? Sneaky Pete back with all the news after the divisional round of the playoffs in our Los Angeles Crusaders franchise, where the Crusaders put on a show against the New England Patriots, both on offense and defense. Our team came to play, and I think that was a statement game for the Crusaders. I know I've started to doubt them. I think a lot of other people have started to doubt them, and they kind of came out and started hitting on all cylinders in that game. Our offense looked incredible. Our defense was making some big plays. Our special team showed up, starting the game off with a kickoff return for a touchdown. Everybody came to play, and if we can kind of continue that success throughout the playoffs, the sky is the limit for this Crusaders team. Next up, though, we have either the Denver Broncos or the Houston Texans. Now, we've done pretty well against both of these teams throughout this season, but obviously the Broncos and the Crusaders are a huge rivalry, and the Texans have a big offense that can go off at any given time, as well as a lot of guys on defense that are going to make plays, so they're a team to keep an eye on. So let's go ahead and find out who we have in this next matchup. We will do league schedule, and as you can see here, it is the Broncos taking on the Crusaders. The matchup number 3 of the season. This has become a serious rivalry. And then we have the Eagles and 49ers. If I'm not mistaken, this is the same matchup from 2 years ago. We didn't make the playoffs last year, but 2 years ago, I'm pretty sure these were the same matchups. I mean, this is definitely a lot of rivalries going on in this game right now. The Crusaders and Broncos are one of those rivalries. The Eagles and the 49ers are one of those rivalries. The Crusaders and the 49ers are now one of those rivalries. And or the Crusaders and Eagles, I'm sorry. So it's pretty much an ideal Final Four for any good football fan. Now let's go check out and find out how these teams got here. The Broncos beat the Texans 33-21 on the road in Houston. Chaz Jenkins showing up, 254 yards, 1 touchdown, 0 interceptions, 297 yards for A.J. McCarron, but he threw 2 touchdowns and 1 interception. Le'Veon Bell, 140 yards on only 15 carries, 2 touchdowns for him, 70 yards on 16 carries for Gio Bernard, and no touchdowns. Arian Foster and Monte Ball each got a touchdown as well. Receiving, Keenan Allen, 9 catches, 118 yards for him. Gresham, 8 catches, 43 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And then you have Emmanuel Sanders, 8 catches, 71 yards, and a touchdown. Defensively, Terry Fuller leading the way, the second-year middle linebacker, a monster player, 14 tackles for him. Von Miller with 12 tackles. Sacks, no sacks on the day. We know there's one interception, and that is to Raheem Moore. He is definitely a playmaker, a guy we're going to have to keep an eye out on next week. Fumbles forced. Miles Marsh forced to fumble. The rookie, actually, pretty good for him. Blocks, no safeties, and no defensive touchdowns. Next up, we have a matchup between the Giants and the 49ers, 38-17, a blowout win for the Niners. I mean, this team has dominated all season long. I'm pretty sure they've scored more points than anybody and allowed the least amount of points, if I'm not mistaken. Colin Kaepernick, 86.6 quarterback rating, 244 yards, 0 touchdowns, 1 interception. But Tom Parker could not get anything going against that 49er defense, only 147 yards. Running the ball, Carlos Hyde, 120 yards on 24 carries for him. Robert Turbin, 13 carries, 101 yards. A monster game from him, 7.8 yards a carry and 2 touchdowns. Michael finding his way into the end zone again. Over 200 yards rushing between Hyde and Michael. 19 carries, 91 yards, 4.8 yards a carry, 3 touchdowns. He did fumble the ball once. And then Evan Royster also finding his way into the end zone for the Crusaders, for the 49ers. Vernon Davis, 6 catches, 71 yards for him. Aaron Fuller, the rookie wide receiver for the 49ers, 5 catches, 50 yards. Greg Olsen and Percy Harvin each with 5 catches as well for the Giants. Defensively, Derek Johnson leading the way in tackles. Bradford Patrick, a guy we scouted quite a bit, is going to be number 2 with 10 tackles. Devarro Bowman, 3. Eric Reed, Jimmy Ward, and Patrick Willis down that list for the 49ers. And Hamid Huval on that list there for the Giants. I believe we scouted him. Am I mistaken? I'm probably mistaken on that. I don't know. Aldon Smith, the only sack of the day. Interceptions. Bruce Irvin got the interception. He is very familiar with that 49ers team. Fumbles forced. We know there was a fumble. Javier Rivera forcing a fumble. Michael Brockers forcing a fumble. And Brockers also recovered a fumble. No blocks, no safeties, no touchdowns here for either defense. Last but not least, we have the Eagles and the Buccaneers, 39-32. The Eagles are going to get a victory here. Player stats, Chase Daniel, not Derek Carr. This means Derek Carr is injured now. He could be back after this week. We're going to go look at that. But Chase Daniel with a monster game, 148.2 quarterback rating, 368 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Jared Trahan, 260 yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Doug Martin, 92 yards on the ground, 6.6 yards a carry for him. LaShawn McCoy, 89 yards, only 3.9 yards a carry. Did get a touchdown, but he also fumbled the ball. Then Bernard Pierce, 42 yards and 2 touchdowns for him. Larry Fitzgerald still making things happen. Wow, 11 catches, 117 yards for him. Greg Jennings, 9 catches, 132 yards and 2 touchdowns. Cecil Shorts III, 8 catches, 152 yards for him. Mike Evans, 6 catches, 44 yards and a touchdown. Then Randall Cobb, 5 catches, 27 yards and 2 touchdowns. The Eagles offense clicking on all cylinders, even with Chase Daniel in at quarterback. Lamar Easley leading the way with 12 tackles. Melvin Ingram with 11. Where is DeLancey Miller? I would expect to see him somewhere on this list. Way down here. Is he benched? What's going on? Maybe he's hurt? I don't know. Definitely not something you would expect to see from the player that we know he was. We'll have to check in on that. Sacks, 1 for Melvin Ingram. Interceptions, 1 for Brooks Reed. Fumbles forced. Let's see what we got. 1 for Mason Foster. He also recovered the fumble. Blocks, no blocks. No safeties and no touchdowns. Now let's go ahead and check out the injury report for the Eagles, because this could be huge. You know, going up against a team like the Buccaneers, going with Chase Daniel, definitely not an easy task. But when you're going up against the Niners, who are very, very arguably the very best team in the NFL right now, and I say this because 612 points forced. Nobody's even close to them. And then, on top of that, they have the best defense in which nobody's even close to them. This team is dominating right now. And if you have to go up against that team without your starting quarterback, you could be in trouble, especially on the road in San Francisco. Let's go ahead and check out the Eagles. And Derek Carr is injured for 2 more weeks. Now, if the Eagles beat the 49ers, take 1 week away. Then you have the Pro Bowl, so you're going to take the 2nd week away. Derek Carr will be back for the Super Bowl if the Eagles pick up a win. And I know a lot of people hated on me for letting Derek Carr go, but this is the exact reason why we did. Is because he kept getting injured in key situations. Injured in one of our Super Bowl appearances. And, you know, that's why I didn't feel comfortable moving forward with him. And now it looks like, even though he did bring a Super Bowl to Philadelphia, you know, the Eagles are kind of dealing with the same thing. Fletcher Cox also out for them. Let's go ahead. 49ers, no injuries. Broncos, let's check them out. Broncos have a few injuries. 2 big ones along their offensive line. That is not good for them. And then another offensive lineman injured. 3 offensive linemen injured. Kind of evens out considering 2 of our best defensive players are injured in terms of run defense. And they will be out for the remainder. Let's go ahead and check out what's going on with DeLancey Miller. Did he not play? I'm really confused because I remember him being one of the Eagles' best players. It's kind of interesting to see that he's no longer there. Middle linebacker. What is going on? He's not injured, but he has fallen out of favor. That is bizarre. What's his rating? That's really weird. I wonder if there's like a glitch in the game. Yeah, 92 overall, only 26 years old. I don't know if he's clashing with the coach. I don't know what the reason would be. He's at the top of the list here. But for whatever reason, they're moving forward with, you know, the more veteran players. I don't know what the Eagles are trying to do right now. But, you know, more power to him. Maybe he just got back and the roster hasn't adjusted. Maybe he was injured for that last game. I don't know. I don't know. I don't even know. Weekly awards, let's check them out, guys. We got Chase Daniel, 27-35, filling in for Derek Carr, 368 yards, 4 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. Brooks Reed, you know, we're questioning the call to bench DeLancey Miller, but he had 9 tackles and an interception for the Eagles. Khalil Mack, 9 tackles, 5 sacks for the Mack attack. Unbelievable showing from him. Like, he's dominated all season long. We've seen it. He broke the single season sack record. But to get 5 sacks in a playoff game when your team needs you the most, that is some leadership right there. And no, I did not use a single defensive play for everybody saying that. Pass protection's on 100 for the computer. He's just that much of a beast right now. Then Le'Veon Bell, 15 carries, 140 yards, 9.3 yards a carry, and 2 touchdowns for him. We will be seeing him next week. Guys, that is going to be it for this episode. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, don't be afraid to smash that like button. It helps me out quite a lot. And I will see you guys for the revival of the rivalry between the Broncos and the Crusaders. Later, guys.